You're still waiting. It's just one of those things, I think. I don't think there's anything untoward. I'm told that everything is on track for both Manuel Ugarte to join Manchester United from PSG and Scott McTominay to go from Manchester United to Napoli. Just a reminder of the deal, €50 million initial payment, €10 million in performance-related add-ons. Unfortunately for United, because there has been a little bit of a delay in the past couple of days, they were hopeful at one stage of trying to get it done and registered by midday today, so he'd be available for the Liverpool game on Sunday. And a lot of United fans were getting excited about that, particularly because Mason Mount has suffered that injury. But that deadline's gone and he won't be available for Manchester United on Sunday against Liverpool. But I'm told it is all on track, and Manuel Ugarte, it's a question of when, not if, he'll become a Manchester United player, as is the case with Scott McTominay, when and not if he'll become a Napoli player. £25 million Napoli will pay in initial payment, plus £5 million in performance-related add-ons.
OK, again, is it just one of those things that McTominay hasn't been done yet?
I mean, he only arrived in Naples yesterday to #scenes, Mike. Yeah. I mean, it was fantastic, all those fans who'd gathered to greet Scott McTominay. And that was delayed initially as well, because we thought he was going to fly on Wednesday. So if you think about it, I think it's no surprise that the McTominay deal will probably get done at some point today. And I think it'll probably be done in tandem. Because remember, we were kind of intimating ideal scenario would be Manchester United would sell a player to create squad space and budgets in order to be able to fund the move for Ugarte. So, yeah, those are those pictures I was just talking about. McTominay probably couldn't believe what he was seeing when he arrived there, but brilliant.
You're just on that, Andy. Like, what will he be getting from the Napoli fans? Like, they're passionate, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I remember Ezekiel Lavezzi when he was at PSG being asked, did he miss anything about Napoli? And he said, well, I didn't miss the fact that when I go shopping in Paris, I just want to go shopping, I go shopping. When I wanted to go shopping in Naples, they'd put me in the boot of a car, I'd get driven to a closed shop, taken round the back, do my shopping, and then go out of the shop back into the boot of the car and go home. So it's intense, you know, there's no doubt about that. And of course, he's with Antonio Conte, who is famously quite intense as well. So, you know, I think because he's so bustling, I think people will really take to him. But I think it's a good deal for Manchester United as well. And you look at some of the outgoings, they've really extracted some good value. If you look at players like him, even Mason Greenwood, of course, Facundo Pellistri, they've retained some interest in them going forward. So if they do well, they continue to make money out of them.
Would you say they've had a good window then?
Yeah, I would. I mean, obviously time will tell in terms of what they can actually produce on the pitch. But they're doing a lot of things right. I think they've got a lot of good value out there, and they've mainly gone and got the players who are not. It's a break from United in the past because they've not gone out there, I think, and got the sexiest players, but they've got players who they actually need and who will do them good. I think De Ligt is a good example of that. Ugarte is going to be a good example of that. Xerxes, they could have gone out there and bought a highfalutin centre forward, but they bought a more versatile sort of forward who can develop and is developing. I'm not expecting him to score like 20 Premier League goals this season or maybe ever. But you know, he can play a number of different roles in the front line, and there's not really another forward in Europe you can compare to him. So with the right coaching, United can gradually get themselves back to the right place. But as we've seen in the first couple of games, it's going to take time, and maybe even it's going to take a different coach.
Right, hang on to your seats here. Right, and it inevitably involves Chelsea. Right, here we go. Edging closer to an agreement with Manchester United, we're hearing, over the signing of Jadon Sancho. There has been further talks. Permanent and loan options still on the table. Ideally, what we understand is Chelsea need to offload players. Raheem Sterling, as we mentioned a little while ago, one of a number of players being offered to clubs, while United remain open to the idea of Sterling joining. They're not actively pursuing it. Their focus is on Sancho. They don't need to replace him, we understand, if he was to leave. Che is still with us, and we were just very briefly running through the options of players that Chelsea have who could play in the same position as Jadon Sancho. And it is frightening. If you start with Neto, go to Nkunku, Palmer can play out in those wide positions that Jadon Sancho would like to adopt Madueke. Where do you put Joao Felix in there? Mudryk in there as well. So why on earth... the talent Jadon Sancho's got is not in doubt, but why on earth would you want to add Sancho to an already clustered squad in those positions?
I heard Enzo Maresca say the other day that he really wasn't happy with Mudryk's performance. And I look at what Sancho is, very technical, can come inside, can play on either wing, like you said. He had a fantastic year at Dortmund and ultimately just fell out with the manager, Ten Hag, at Man United. I think he was probably hoping that Ten Hag got the sack. It wasn't to be. And now I think he's moving on, back to London. I feel like with Enzo Maresca, he's going to be playing in a system, a team where they have a philosophy. And I think he'll thrive there. I think it's a great move for him, his family, and obviously Man United, that they want to get rid of him anyway.
Do you think that means, from what you're saying there, that we could see outgoings for the likes of Mudryk that we might not be expecting?
Yeah, I think, like we've said, Chelsea, it's all going to be around Chelsea today. Yeah. There'll be ins, there'll be outs. Like you said, there's a lot of players there that can play in those positions. Do you really want those players, all them options? Because if you've got like the likes of Palmer's playing all the time, guaranteed, whether it be on the right...
Is he better in the 10?
I like him in the 10 because I think he knits everything together with Madueke out there. With the strike, with Jackson, he can play through balls. Obviously, he scores himself. He's got real intelligence, way ahead of his years. So I'd like to see him in that number 10 position, but he can play anywhere. Players of that quality can play anywhere. But he's definitely starting. We all know that. And then Madueke, he started playing really well now. Direct, can come inside, can go outside. He's doing really well. Mudryk hasn't done well since he's gone there. You've seen a few flashes in the pan, but nothing much what you would expect of him when he came with that, huge price tag. And when you see the highlights of what he was doing at Shakhtar, it was unbelievable, and it hasn't happened for Chelsea. So bringing someone like Jadon Sancho in, he gives you versatility on either wing. He's got
Neto that you've just paid a lot of money for.
I love Neto.
And Nkunku.
Again, Nkunku hasn't really, obviously he was injured, so you give him the benefit of that. When you're out for so long, it takes a long time to get back into the rhythm of things. So I'm not ready to make an assumption on if he's a good signing or not. But Neto, he always causes problems. He done it in the Euros. He was coming off the bench and he was creating goals. At Wolves, he was fantastic, very direct, can score goals. I look at Sancho though, and I think it's a little bit different. I think he can play on either wing, and that will give him the versatility to put Cole Palmer in the 10 position. If Madueke's not playing, then Sancho can go on the right side, the left side as well. I like it. I think it's great for Sancho. I think it's great for Man United, and I think it's
Let's get
really...
to speak to former Premier League winner Chris Sutton now, get his take on things. Chris, good to speak to you. We've got to start with your former club Chelsea. Of course, they're trying to bring in striker Victor Osimhen. He agreed a deal with Saudi side Al Ahly, but could still join. How much do you think Chelsea need someone like Osimhen?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, Joe. Look, I think it's pretty simple with Chelsea and Osimhen. Is Osimhen an upgrade on Nicholas Jackson? I think he is. Nicholas Jackson's numbers last season were pretty good, but Chelsea want the best available, and I think Osimhen, if Chelsea could get him, he would certainly be a more rounded player than Nicholas Jackson. Hence why they are probably working hard to try and get over the line with this. And and I think at 25, Victor Osimhen, it's a waste really for him to go to Saudi Arabia at such a young age. We know the riches and the money that players can earn out in Saudi, but I think that would be a real waste. Hence why he should join Chelsea.
But Ivan Toney then, sticking with that theme, how much of a waste do you think it would be if he ends up going to Saudi, and how would you have seen him fit into this Chelsea side?
Yeah, well, very similar to Victor Osimhen. I think Ivan Toney's 28 years old. Which is the stronger league, the Premier League or the Saudi League? I really rate Ivan Toney so much. I think that he's going to be a loss for Brentford. I think over the last few seasons, his game has really developed, and he's he's a good all-rounder, set plays, he links the play, good with his back to goal. He's a really intelligent player. I would have liked to see him stay at Brentford or sign for another Premier League club. He's going to a weaker league, and listen, good luck to him. That's his choice, that's his decision. But we all know why he's going. He's going for the money. But if he goes out to Saudi for a couple of years, it's going to be very difficult for him to come back and play at such a high level.
Do you understand why players are choosing Saudi?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with it. It's a personal decision, but I just think you're talking about guys in the prime, in the pomp, in the 20s, who are making this decision. As I said before, the Premier League is recognised as the best league in world football. So, if it's a career ambition, then it's the league that everybody wants to play. And so at 28, Ivan Toney, wanting to go to Saudi, I think it's too young. Maybe when he gets into his 30s and he's coming towards the end, I still think he has lots to offer. We know the issues which he had last season. He came back and maybe didn't quite hit the heights at Brentford at the end of last season, and his numbers weren't what they were previous. But he went away to the Euros and, albeit didn't get too much game time, but made enough of an impact. There's a real player in there. I just think it's a waste, and the Premier League are losing a top player.
Well, in terms of Chelsea, Jadon Sancho, another name being linked with the club. Would that surprise you if he'd joined them?
I don't think, Joe, anything surprises me at Chelsea. Listen, it's been very difficult for Enzo Maresca, hasn't it, going in? He's got a top-heavy squad. They seem to have an abundance of wide players. What do we know? Jadon Sancho at Manchester United, he had that altercation with Erik Ten Hag, didn't he? And I wondered how that would pan out in pre-season. Obviously it looks like he's not going to get a regular game at Manchester United. Jadon Sancho is a very, very talented footballer. Erik Ten Hag, we can argue didn't get the best out of him, and there are maybe reasons for that, and I suspect there are reasons for that. But maybe Enzo Maresca feels that he can get the best out of Jadon Sancho, and that's why they're trying to sign him.
A player who looks like he's on his way out is Raheem Sterling. What do you make of that situation, how it's been handled, a potential move to Arsenal? Would that be a good move for him?
Oh, blimey, yeah. I think that'd be a great move for Raheem Sterling. And maybe Arsenal in the wide areas don't have that strength and depth. So, there's a strong argument to say that that Raheem Sterling would be a good addition for Arsenal. And look, Raheem Sterling at Chelsea, I don't think last couple of seasons has really hit the height. So yeah, I think Raheem Sterling would bite an arm off to get across to Arsenal if that can happen. With regards to the way he's been frozen out, I don't have an issue with it. Enzo Maresca was put in a bit of an impossible position, really. They've got a top-heavy squad. He has to leave certain players out, but because of Raheem Sterling's reputation and all he has achieved in the game, I think there were people who felt angry about the way he'd been treated. But new manager's gone in. He has to make decisions on players. That wasn't his fault, the mess which he inherited. And he just simply doesn't fancy Raheem Sterling, which is Maresca's right. And, and we'll see how Chelsea get on without Raheem Sterling. But, that was, Maresca's decision. And I admire him for sticking to his guns, really.
I'll give everything, Manuel Ugarte's first words as a Manchester United player after PSG transfer. Manchester United has officially announced the signing of midfielder Manuel Ugarte from Paris Saint-Germain, and here are his first words after the move. Ugarte expressed his excitement, calling it an incredible feeling to join Manchester United from PSG. Ugarte arrived in Manchester on Tuesday night, but his signing was only confirmed on the final day of the transfer window. Unfortunately, he won't be available for this weekend's clash against Liverpool. United secured Ugarte on a permanent deal worth €50 million, £42.3 million, with an additional €10 million, £8.5 million, in potential add-ons. He has signed a 5-year contract at Old Trafford. The defensive midfielder is expected to compete with Casemiro for a starting role this season, significantly bolstering Erik ten Hag's midfield options, something the club identified as crucial. Speaking after his transfer was confirmed on Friday night, Ugarte said, "It's an incredible feeling to join a club of this magnitude, one that's admired around the world. The project the football leadership discussed with me is extremely exciting. Manchester United is an ambitious club, and I'm an ambitious player. The passion of the fans is something that really matters to me. I know how amazing United supporters are, and I can't wait to experience Old Trafford. I'm someone who is very determined to succeed. I'll sacrifice and give everything for my teammates. Together, we'll fight to win trophies and reach the level this club deserves to be at." Sporting director Dan Ashworth also praised the signing, stating, "Securing Manuel was one of our top priorities this summer. He's among the best ball-winning midfielders in the world and has an excellent track record at both club and international levels. His qualities, experience, and passion will be a great addition to our strong midfield group. Manuel is a player we've monitored closely, and we're excited to see the positive impact he'll have both on the pitch and in the dressing room as we continue to strive for success." Ugarte needed to be registered by noon on Friday to be eligible for the Liverpool match, but sources confirmed that the deadline was missed, making him unavailable for the game. Given that Ugarte only arrived in Manchester on Tuesday night and had limited pre-season minutes, United always considered it a long shot for him to feature against Liverpool. The 23-year-old also penned a farewell letter to PSG, saying, "Dear PSG fans, today it's time to say goodbye, with mixed emotions. I can't help but thank you for all the support you've given me. Your encouragement, your passion, and your unwavering support made every moment unique. It's unfortunate that my time at the club didn't meet my expectations. Sometimes things don't go as planned. However, I leave with wonderful memories and valuable lessons that I'll always cherish. I also want to thank my teammates, the coaching staff, and everyone who is part of this club. While my journey here is coming to an end, I wish you all the best for the future."